evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a review of the Mile End Baiteze squad season so far. To my left, I've got Jamie. To my right, I've got Kiers. This is my assistant manager, player coach, and we're going to review our season so far with our pre-season and our league and our London Cup. So, we're going to kick it off with the first pre-season game. How did you think it went, lads? Bearing in mind we had to get a new team together. We kept a few players from the squad from last season, but with new additions. And I think on our first game we used it as a trial game, really, didn't we? To have a look at a few players. So, who wants to go first, Jay? How do you think it went?
Yeah, no, to be fair, they was a young side who was playing. They was recording the game as well, but we didn't record the first game, so it wasn't out there. But we played East London Kings,
Yeah,
I think it was. So they was a good, lively side. But to be fair, even with the 19 players I think we had on that day, only probably 5 or 6 of them were signed, and the rest of them we was looking at. I thought it was a good performance overall. A bit of a mismatch here and there, but you think it's a whole new squad. So yeah, we done well on that day, and we got the win as well. Kiers?
I thought they were a really good side. They moved the ball quite well. I think, like Jamie said, we had 19, 20 players. So it was more for us looking at players. Obviously, we knew quite a few, so it was about the ones we didn't know, getting them to blend in with the rest of the group and kind of see where we was at. And I think we won in that game. Was it 6-1 in that game?
Yeah, 6-1.
Not about the result, but obviously you got to start somewhere. So it was good to start with a win.
And it was that game where you told us that you're a defensive midfielder.
100%, I stick by it.
Where's that come about? To be fair, you've done well in there, but why do you want to be a defensive midfielder when all your life you played in the wing, you played in a 10 role, even up front?
No pace. Pace is gone.
Pace is gone.
Legs are dying. You know, you've got to sit back in and just...
Or you're getting nervous in front of goal now?
Yeah, behave.
Because I think, what game was it where you should have scored a tap in, you took 3 or 4 people and then missed the target?
Charlie got to the goal line.
I think it went wide, actually.
It actually did go wide.
So, with that said, I think our next game after that was FC Nivea, which was our first game that we recorded. And FC Nivea, a very good team. The scoreline might not have reflected that, but bearing in mind, I think it was their first pre-season game or second. It was ours, and they probably underestimated us, thinking we're going to have a whole new team due to the split from the team from last season. I've always respected FC Nivea. They've always been close games in the 3-4 years that we played against them. And I was present. That's where I thought some of the boys that we looked at the previous week, really I felt they can hold their own in this league, because the team East London Kings are not in our league and FC Nivea are. And FC Nivea, I would say, are a mid-table team, always pushing, taking points from the teams around us. So that's where I stood up and thought, we've got a couple of decent players from what come to join us in the summer. So that was quite a pleasing result for me and a quite pleasing performance on the day. I don't know what you guys think. Cheers.
The first 15 minutes, I thought it's going to be a long season because we started so bad. But then I think they went up 1-0, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they celebrated.
Yeah, they celebrated like it was a cup final. And I kind of think that gave us the kick we needed, and the boys kind of turned it on. And I think it ended 6-1 again, I think it was. That one, 5-1, stuff like that. And yeah, that's when I knew. I said, yeah, we got a group here that don't mind digging in and down for a scrap. And I thought, yeah, we should be right this year.
I think in our first 2 pre-season games we went behind.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jay, you?
No, I think echo what both Justin and Kiers said. Obviously, yeah, it was a whole new side. Second game together. I think we had like a couple of weeks in between that, wasn't it? We didn't play. And then
2 weeks. Yeah.
So we had been away from each other again for a couple of weeks. So it gave us the time to bring a couple of other players we wanted to have a look at, come back in. And yeah, it was a good performance against the side what was in our league as well, which I didn't know until afterwards. Obviously, Justin turned around and said they're highly respected in the league and stuff like that. So to get a confidence result like that against them when they're highly rated in our league was really good for the lads, and obviously us going forward, knowing we had a squad to compete. Question for you, Just. Why did you pick a game like that, obviously knowing they was in our league?
Well, to be honest with you, the chairman, Terry, was the one who said that they were interested in playing a game, and I thought if we was a team that was already settled, I knew the squad definitely wouldn't have played them because you won't want to play against a team that you're playing in the league, but I felt it would be a good way to test against, as I said, a team that's always going to be fighting in the league to try and upset and win a few trophies. So I thought it would be a good test, and yeah, I thought it might have came a bit early for us at that time, but it worked out well, and I think it was a blessing in disguise because, as I said, there was a few players that came out of that I was pleasantly surprised with. So that's why we took the fixture. And as we didn't know at that time, I believe the season didn't really have a start date. We just knew it would be October. Yeah. So I think that's why we took it really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the second pre-season game. Our third and final pre-season game was against a team called Inner City, who was a young, enthusiastic team. Again, I think they recorded their game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Team that is, I'll be honest, I never heard of, but after playing them, I can see that they obviously are trying to do things correctly. They was quite well equipped, had a lot of management team, had a lot of players involved on the day. And yeah, I can't remember the score of that line, if anyone can help me.
I don't remember the score, I know I scored a banger.
Is that the one where I was in
goal? Is that the one you scored a banger, yeah? Is that the one you was in goal? So was that 4-1?
I think I was in
Could
goal.
have been that one.
Yeah, I was in goal, so I think it was like, yeah, we gave him again. I think we went behind again. When Jack passed it back, it was
you was off your line. Yeah, I remember that one. Remember he was off his line.
He started going mad at me. Yeah, but, yeah. So they scored from that, and then after that, I think we controlled it again. I think, yeah, even though they was enthusiastic, they was young, they was trying to put themselves about as much as they could. I think the quality and the experience of the side we had that day going into the season. It just told with the result in the end.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then that was we only played 3 pre-season games, and then our first league game was at Hackney Borough, a team, to be honest with you, that is new to this league in terms of the name, but the players I've known about, and again, I think there'll be a team that will be up there challenging us really this season. I thought it was a tough game. I felt it was. There was a lot of handbags in the game, a lot of controversy. But again, I'll be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised how we controlled that game in the end, really. I thought we looked comfortable for the win, and I think we gave them a little bit of something to fight for towards the end, but I think the game was pretty much done by then. And again, another team that we respect, and again, I expect them to be right up there this season. And got some good players, really. It was a good game.
Yeah, no, that was Shane's old team, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Shane had a lot of to prove in that game.
And I think he was awesome that day.
Yeah, to be fair, he did prove a lot to them. Didn't really get in the side last year, as far as I know, with them. Knew a lot of them, so obviously he wanted to prove a point. I think we tried to prove a point as well on that day that we're here now. Like, it might be a new squad, but we're still Mile End Baiteze squad, and I feel we proved that on that day. Look, it doesn't matter who we've got playing for us. We're going to have a good squad. We're going to have a good team, and I feel we set a statement out on the first day of the season. Honestly, against, as you say, probably one of the top sides. What will challenge at the end of the season with us.
Kiers, I mean, this is why this is good, because I play in the game and you guys from the side watch it. That game, the first 20 minutes, we were awful. And we could have been 3-4-0 down on another day. I mean,
I think we drew that at half time. We said that we I think we went 2-0 at half time.
We scored 2 breakaway goals and went up 2-0. Probably undeserved, but it's football and it happens. You know, and if they're not up there to come into the season, I'll be surprised, because they're a really good team, organised, they keep the ball really well, some real good players. But again, I feel like our experience and just having someone like Charlie that can score goals out of nothing is very handy for us. And I think they'll be up there, 100%. But like I said, I can't look past us anyway, as good in the league. So I think it'll be out of us and them. And it's more, when we play them again, if we win, that should be enough for us to go all the way.
Yeah, well, obviously got to beat the other team, because I mean, if you drop points, which has happened in the past, can't make sure that happened. But yeah, just echoing what Kiers says, I think we addressed that at half time, and we was very fortunate to be 2-0 up. They were definitely the better team in the first half. But then saying that, I think second half we dominated the game, and we should have put it. It could have been 5 or 6 in the second half, and it wasn't. But we won the game, and it was a massive win. And I think our celebration showed that at the end. Yeah, we knew how important it was to get off to a good start against a good team. So yeah, the next game after that was the London Cup, a cup that, as I said, I've just before, I didn't feel we should have gone into it this season, but Jamie wanted to go into it. He's not taking ownership of that when he should be taking ownership of that. But I just felt as a new group, it was something that I didn't really want to focus on for this season. I wanted us to first and foremost retain the league title, and any cups after that will be a bonus, because I do feel, for me personally, the London Cup, you need to be a team that's been together a couple of years to go ahead, because that means you're dominating your own home turf, and you're going out to expand to try and beat other teams in other leagues. So for me, I think we're a bit young for this season, but listen, there's no reason why we can't go far. The favourites are quite clearly, we know who they are, and they're there to be seen. We'll discuss that later. But yeah, we was drawn away to Kiers Town. Oh, sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. But Jay, maybe you could speak a little bit about this.
Yeah, no, obviously taking ownership, I will take ownership of it. Yeah, I did say I wanted to be in it. Obviously, Justin has trusted that, and I think so far, obviously touching on the next game in the next round as well in a little bit, but we've got through 2 rounds in the last 16 now, so win one more in the quarter-final, and you can go from anything from that. So I feel we've earned our right to be in that competition at the moment. There's favourites to go, we know that. We'll wait and see what's going on, obviously with the draw and that. We're going to talk about the draw in a little bit and the London Cup. But that game I feel we controlled. They're a team from the Barnet and Sunday League, and they're competing well in their division. But I feel like our quality showed in that game. When we turned up on that Sunday, Justin was like, "Oh, this player's dropped out and this player's dropped out. We don't know what's going to go on." Like at one point, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to have to kit up and everything like that." And to be fair,
I think we only had 13
players, yeah. And it was like.
But it was a good starting level, so that helped us.
So yeah, we took control of the game, scored some good goals in that game. In our goal of the month, you'll see 2 or 3 of them. So to be fair, we controlled that game and easily, I feel, in the end, progressed into the next round.
Yeah, game was comfortable. I think, was it 5-0?
Yeah,
it's comfortable. I mean, we turned up, pitch was nice, let us play football. Couldn't really get near us, but I mean, they showed a good heart. They kept going to the end. But the game was never in doubt after the first half.
The clean sheet, first one of the
that
season and the league.
Yeah. I think that was more pleasing than anything, was keeping the clean sheet.
Yeah, so that was the London Cup. Our next game was against Gascoigne in the league. Again, if you've watched that video, you'll see clearly one of the best celebrations I've ever seen in Sunday League football. If I'm honest with you, it was quite good to see, really, and I'm glad we showed it. We didn't cut it out. Opposition scored, I think, to make it 2-2 with 2 minutes to go in normal time plus injury time. Another very difficult game. Maybe made it more difficult than what it should have been.
100%.
And then, am I not mistaken, did you not make it 3-2 and 4-2 to win the game?
I'm sure you were going to tell us that.
I'm sure you're going to tell us about that. But again, another team that I expect to nick points off people. Might come up a bit short in terms of challenging, but you never know. But yeah, to me, it was another massive win, bearing in mind we was 2-0 up coasting, and then we let them back into it. And then, as I said, Kiers, you can maybe just talk about your 2 goals. I think he scored in the 89th minute and 91st minute to win the game. I believe that was your first goal as well, wasn't it? In the competitive?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. No, it's one of them games, I think, where they kind of stepped up because of who they're playing against. I don't see them putting in that kind of performance against other teams.
We showed the week after.
Showed the week after. Yeah, it did. I mean, winning 2-0 was cruising, wasn't he? It was comfortable. They didn't really look like scoring a goal, and then they got one, and then it was like, then they got two. It was like, damn. And then, yeah, you know, what happened. Just big game, big players. So that's what happened. So, but again,
who's that big player? Who was that?
The one that scored two at the end.
But I don't know his name. Maybe you look and tell us who that was.
No, I think again more about getting the points on board again. I think we're that two in the league. So
Yeah.
Just important that we got to a good start really, and I think we played probably our two toughest games. I reckon probably at the start of this season, or two of them anyway in the league. Two of them. So to get them out of the way and to get 6 points, good start.
Yeah, no, there's not really much to say about that game. I feel me and Justin was a little bit from the side, a bit frustrated with. I felt that we could have controlled that game a lot better from 2-0. Yeah. I feel maybe the lads switched off a little bit and let them get the 2 goals back. Don't get me wrong, they did fight for them, to be fair to them. But I feel it was like a mistakes from us and letting them in the back door really and letting them back in the game. But in the end, we got the 3 points and we moved on to the next game.
Yeah, and with that said, the next game, which I think probably was our toughest game, I think the scoreline suggests that. It was against Tottenham Phoenix. Another funny team. Again, would always raise their game against the teams that I've managed over the years. But then we'll probably lose to most teams in the league. So, which is frustrating from our point of view because we've got to turn up every week and everyone wants to beat us. But yeah, I personally think that was our toughest game so far. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2-1, wasn't it? Was it 2-1? Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 in the end.
So, that was a tough game, I felt anyway, especially from the sideline viewing it. But yeah, I don't know what you felt playing it.
I think it was it was a frustrating game. It was it was one of them that it's not a memorable game. The last 2 games, we're going to go into the last one in a minute, but the last 2 games I feel have been frustrating games. We've not really hit any gears. I feel like we've gone through it, got the win, and that's it. Like, I don't feel like it's been a performance. But on the other hand, is that a sign of a good side? We're winning. We're not playing well, but we're winning. So yeah.
Well, I feel those last 2 games we've had a couple of players missing that are important to us. George hasn't played the last couple of games. Ashley, and obviously Sherry hasn't played for the last few games. So these are players that obviously make us stronger. Which when we return, we'll all be back. So Olu as well. So yeah, I think we should move on from that game. Really.
Yeah.
The last game up until when we broke off due down to the COVID was against Swag, and I don't want to dwell on it too much because I don't want to kill players and things like that. But for me, it was a boring game to watch. It was quite frustrating from the sideline. I wouldn't even say it was like a testimonial. It was as then good what Kiers said, quoting their name. The game was Swag. The less said about that game, to be honest with you, I think is the better. The positives are, as I said, when you aren't playing well and things ain't going well for you, and I felt we would have been there all day and not scored, and then Rash scores it was a great strike, goalkeeper got a hand to it, but it still went in, and like I said, it was a 1-0 win and win the hat for the next round, and you can see we was pleased to get the goal, because it's probably the only highlight of the game. And we move on. I don't really even think there's anything.
Credit to them though.
They tried to pass the ball. They did try.
I was chasing shadows first 25 minutes. I was tired. They bought ball. Credit to them. But goals win games in the day, innit? And Rash pulled out one, and that was it.
Clean sheet.
Another clean sheet.
Yeah.
So we'll take it.